Hello and welcome back to News and Brews at MD&M West 2025. It's our 40th anniversary. This is wild. My name is Jim Mayer. I am a host of a podcast, but I get the joy of sitting here at this news desk today with Ernie Litnyski from RBP Chemical. But RBP Chemical isn't your only job right now. You're also a major general with the U.S. Army Reserves. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm a part-time soldier, so I did about a decade active duty service, and I decided to stay in the reserves. And it's actually pretty cool because both careers intertwine.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, leadership is leadership, and that's the direction I try to practice in the mantra in both instances.
Well, and so I love that you say that because, as you said, I'm a part-time soldier. You're a full-time leader because you lead in both these industries, right? Both these roles that you have, you are the leader. And so I want you to tell us a little bit about your story. How did you get to the News and Brews desk in 2025 at MD&M West?
I didn't volunteer, so I had to come here. No.
You were voluntold?
No, yeah, I was voluntold. No, I mean, really, I take a look back at my career and how it started, and being in active duty, and then moving to corporate America, it just made sense to stay in both fields. Okay. And what I try to do is really practice servant leadership. Yeah. I'm the dumbest guy with 4 grad degrees, right? But it's really about practicing servant leadership and going to the lowest level.
Okay.
Right? I mean, whether it's, I was on tanks, so whether it's a private changing track, you got to get dirty and understand their job.
Yeah.
If it's what we do in chemistry, why is a chemical blender doing what he or she needs to do? Right? So it's really understanding the human element of what drives people.
Yeah.
When you start taking a look at that pyramid and working up, it's maintaining those roots of what happens at the lowest level.
I love it. And
then moving up, and at this point, I think you take a little more strategy and vision.
Sure. Right?
And it's the same, and it's really providing that motivation, strategy and vision. We talk about that often, but how do you do it? And it really comes back that loop of continuous feedback from the lowest level.
Absolutely.
So that's what we try to do. Being an immigrant from, parents are from Poland as well. You start on the bottom and you work up, but you got to maintain your humbleness, and you want to make people better. Yeah. And that's where I go. We want to make money. We want to have fun.
And Ernie, I've met you exactly 4.5 minutes ago. But what I love and really appreciate you as a leader, and I can see this as a trait that you carry with you as you do lead your teams, you're very vulnerable. You're very open. From the minute we introduced ourselves to each other, you were very vulnerable. You were an open book. Talk to us about how vulnerability plays that role within your leadership journey.
Yeah, that's. I'm not going to say my story's special, but I mean, I went through a little post-traumatic stress disease, not disorder, and I tried to figure out how to be a leader, both professionally, and then what I do in my personal life, and then having a dark side, right? And it's that balance you have to have as a leader. You have the mantra of how you look as a professional. You have your personal things, your family, religion, race, color, creed, and then you have your dark side. I call it dark side, but it's my PTSD and loss of a daughter, right? Oh. And I tried to make myself a little bit vulnerable so that I could empathize with people a little better, because it's really about people. So that's what I did. I'm saying education comes into it, failure comes into it, but really that vulnerability is you have to try, and hopefully people see that you're trying to better your organization. And
absolutely, that
vulnerability to me is trying to figure out those 3 mantras, and I opened myself up to all 3 at once.
Yeah, awesome.
In lieu of trying to compartmentalize. That's just who I am as a leader, and I expose myself.
I love it. Talk to us briefly about RBP.
Yeah, RBP, so MD&M's been here for 40 years. It's a pretty cool thing. RBP just celebrated our 70th anniversary.
Dang.
So 3 different owners. RBP actually was the initial of the 3 founders, their last names. And we actually started in the graphic arts business, so think printing, and we still do that.
Really?
Yes, we do. So it started, RBP was the initials of the 3 gentlemen that started a company, but it really stood for the acronym Research for Better Printing as well. So that was in 1954.
That was some marketing genius in the 50s.
It's pretty cool. So we actually got into printed circuit boards and semiconductor manufacturing, and then we got into medical device manufacturing as well. So if you think about it, we try to provide value at RBP, albeit we're a small company, veteran-owned, with myself and my business partner, Dan. It's pretty cool to know that what goes on paper or packaging, we're helping folks out.
Yeah.
Things on a printed circuit board that go in your iPhone, right? Or into a ballistic missile, or into an X-ray machine.
Yeah.
And then everything that we do with metal for implantable devices, it's pretty cool to save lives. My mom actually has a stent that one of our manufacturers made the chemistry for, you know, and you know, went out the door, and we have full traceability. So it's a pretty cool thing when you think about what we do at RBP. And we try to share that with our employees, make them go visit customers as much as we can as well.
I was just going to ask about that, because one of the things from that cultural standpoint, right, is drawing the passion and making people feel like they have purpose and what they do matters, right? And in a lot of the companies that have booths here, there's a real impact that every employee can have.
Absolutely.
Because you're creating stents, you're medical device implantables. Like, what we do in this industry is pretty freaking cool. See, I didn't curse. It's pretty freaking cool. So I think we need to highlight that more and connect that value of what the organization's purpose is to the employees. How do you feel about that statement?
We are all over it.
All right.
So
awesome.
we actually have a display with all our products, and we try to explain to employee step A through X, right? Every process except for printed circuit boards. We show them a device and the failures that could happen if our chemistry doesn't etch or electropolish appropriately for corrosivity testing, you know, that these companies and partners that we sell to, you know, go through. So you have to show people the value, and it builds passion.
I love it.
It builds passion, you know, and you put that together with providing some benefits.
Yeah.
You know, as a small company, what else can you want in life?
Yeah.
You know, giving a kid a scholarship from a small company, it's life-changing for a manufacturing person.
Absolutely.
So that's what we try to do. We try to link in the human element again.
I love that.
With the bigger purpose and drive of what we do for our customer.
I'm going to have to come visit your facility, because
Come on
I'm
down.
Really
come ice
impressed.
fishing too.
Okay, it's been about 30 years since the last time I ice fished, but I'm on board. Talk to us about the difference or similarities in command structures between the military and the boardroom. I mean, you've seen combat zones, you've seen boardrooms. Leadership takes a much different role. I think of combat zones, I think discipline and regimented. I think, you know, agility and innovation in manufacturing. Talk to us how that jives a little bit.
It's the same. Less in corporate America, you're building a product or a service. And in the military, it's about the profession of arms and war fighting.
Okay.
Right? Surviving.
Yeah.
Right? And leading our troops to fight and win our nation's wars.
Sure.
But here's why I say it's the same. At the end of the day, you talk about discipline and regimented things in the military.
Right.
It's the same we do in manufacturing.
Sure.
We have SOPs. Yeah. We have ISO. Right? I mean,
valid point.
We do the same thing. We have different tests we need to do, and it's really about providing that regimen at the lowest level so that we know how to repeat and reproduce the same over and over and over.
Got
and
it.
Training in the military is the same as training in corporate America.
Yeah.
Folks do safety training every week. Why do we do it? Why do we do lockout, tag out all the time, right? Or confined space training. It's repeat and get better so that we could survive and make money in corporate America, and it's the same in the military. We could survive and come home in one piece with your brothers and sisters next to the CNC machine or the blending tank. It's the same if you think about it. I'll give you one more.
Just learned
I'll give you
something.
one more example.
Yeah.
We have something in the military called the military decision-making process. All it is, and we always talk about Lean Six Sigma.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of in a Lean Six Sigma and a statistician on the side as well. But it's the same. It's a problem-solving process.
Interesting.
And we use the same model. Less in the military, it may not be driven as much by statistics, you know, or statistic process control, you know, control charts and so forth. But if you think about it, it's the same thing. It's define a problem, figure out some courses of action, right? Figure out the best course of action, implement, refine.
Wow.
It's the same.
That's awesome. So, all right, talk to me a little bit. You brought up ISO. I look at chemical manufacturing, and this is an area of manufacturing that I need to learn a lot more of, right? But I think of a lot of regulations, and how does a company like RBP change and adapt to manufacturing's already quickly evolving, but even more quickly evolving regulations and customer demands?
So I'll start with the regulations.
Yeah.
A lot of chemical, DEA certification, right? EPA, PFAS now, PFOS,
Yeah.
right? Conflict minerals in
Yep.
some of our industries. We try to get ahead. So
Okay.
so when some of these things started coming out 10 years ago,
Yeah.
we already got rid of it. We
Wow.
lost a little bit of money, but if you think about it in the long term, getting rid of those things and having that value-added finished product for us
Yeah.
that already meets regulations, customers appreciated it.
That's awesome.
So that's what we did on the regulatory side. You know,
Well, and that's got to help with that customer demand as well. If you're
Absolutely.
anticipating what that demand's going to be or that change
Absolutely.
because of your interpretation of the regulations, that's got to be a massive help for you guys.
absolutely. On the customer side or supply chain side,
Yeah.
we try to. I'm in the Army. Try to made in USA. We try to source as much as we can here in the United States.
Good. Yeah.
And we're seeing work come back as well in many of these industries.
Sure.
But it's a beautiful thing to know that we have Louisiana and all the way up to Houston, where many of our chemicals are made from petrochemicals or from gas.
Wow.
So if you don't know the industry, we have it very well, and that's where a lot of the manufacturers are. So we're lucky enough to have the Mississippi River in this country,
Yeah,
barge
absolutely.
things up to where we're at, either in Chicago or Milwaukee. But if you think about it, we try to source specifically here in the United States to get ahead.
I love it.
Just got this question 6 times, 6 emails today. What are the tariffs going to do to me?
You want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
We are.
I got the tariff question, guys. All right. What are tariffs going to do to you?
So we're sourcing here domestically.
Yeah.
So it's a nothing burger.
Sure.
It's noise for us.
Okay.
And we set up our supply chain accordingly. There's a few things that may come from overseas, from these countries, or to our neighbors and friends, to the north or south of
Yeah.
us. But you got to have contingency plans.
Got it.
And that's what we did. So for us, it doesn't matter.
A nothing burger. That could be the quote of the day.
A tsunami or earthquake. We had Japan some years ago.
Yeah.
And we made it out free and clear.
I love it.
COVID, folks wanted stuff. We anticipated as well. We use a lot of isopropyl alcohol
Yeah.
in many of our industries.
Okay.
But we kept that specifically for our medical customers that needed it, for, in America's worst day during COVID.
Yeah.
So that anticipation and not trying to hoard or trying to do something for a short-term gain was very appreciated.
Got it.
And that's
So-
why we've been around for 70 years.
Exactly. Well, and that ability to adapt to that is massive, right? Talk to us. Last question. What are some emerging trends, or what is the future of manufacturing in your mind?
Yeah, so looking from the customer perspective, and we talked AI here briefly, right before here. So we're seeing iterations.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
seeing a lot of iterations. And at RBP, we're proud to walk in at the beginning of that process of design.
Wow.
And we're trying to work, we talk upstream and downstream. We're trying to work that process with our customers right away.
Love it.
So customers have iterations, tri-storming. We talked about that. Being a little bit vulnerable.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're there. Hey, give me your design. Let us figure out the chemistry so the time the chemistry needs to provide for a nitinol part or stainless steel or cobalt chrome.
Yeah.
Right? The temperature, how much voltage we need to put on here. Partner with us right away.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it. We talk about it a lot, but do we do it? So you got to have vulnerability on both sides, and that's
Absolutely.
building that trust, with your customer base on getting in on a supply chain as quick as you can, going all the way back to design.
And that's how true partnerships are built, right? Partnerships are two-way streets, and so often we hear, "Oh, I am in a partnership with so-and-so," and it's transactional in one direction, right? So I love that you're taking that bi-directional support to heart, right?
Absolutely. Thank you.
We've got a few seconds here. What haven't I asked you that I should have?
So why go to RBP for medical chemistry?
Perfect. I love
I
it.
got to put a plant in here.
Yeah, do it.
So we have no competition. Our competition for etching and for electropolishing is really homemade brews or things that go back generationally that probably are hazardous or could blow up.
Yeah.
And we're proud to say that we have products that you could electropolish at room temperature. Bad things can happen. And we're proud to say that we're looking forward to coming up with non-hazardous chemistry to support this industry. And this goes into outside of regulatory, but we're talking safer employees. And that's where we're working next generation chemistry instead of things that could explode or crazy acids.
Yeah.
That is my vision for RBP, to provide a safe alternative that provides the same efficacy and repeatability on your part at the end of the day.
I love that so much. How can people find RBP and you?
Yeah, we're at www.rbpchemical.com. I'll give my cell phone number out. I'll be vulnerable. I'm just kidding. So, but if they go to the website, we've got a simple, you know, hey, contact us.
Yeah.
They could find us online. All our emails are on there as well for the leadership team. So
Love it.
Appreciate it.
Love it. And can people find you on LinkedIn? Is that an easy place to connect with you?
LinkedIn as well. Please follow us on LinkedIn. We've got a lot of good stuff we do on there. And we often talk content.
Yeah.
We try to do 30-second blogs on, hey, here's how you set up an electropolish. Contact us for more information.
Yeah. Awesome.
So it's really about knowledge building like we talked about in people.
I love it. Well, this has been an awesome conversation with Ernie Litnyski. Ernie, thanks for being here, celebrating MD&M West's 40th anniversary and birthday. Thanks again. Pleasure. We'll talk to you guys soon.